Straight ahead on 12 News, a breakthrough in the battle against MS.
It's a big deal for our patients that we've had many patients who have been waiting for this treatment.
Meet the Brooklyn Park teen on the receiving end of a new drug. Plus, neighbors unite to fight a controversial nightclub proposal. But first, local Boston Marathon runners react to the guilty verdicts seen around the world. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. A local marathon runner says the guilty verdicts in the Boston Marathon bombing trial are a step toward healing.
The 2013 bombing killed 3 people and injured more than 260 others.
Reporter Shannon Slatton met with Dawn Olson of Maple Grove today. She ran the Boston Marathon last year.
This is the medal that you get when you cross the finish line. Pretty amazing. So
when faced with adversity,
I decided to run Boston before the bombing ever happened.
Maple Grove runner Dawn Olson says runners persevere.
I think a lot of us in our group were really scared and nervous, but we also knew we had to do it.
She ran the Boston Marathon the year after the bombing.
And you see the memorial, you see everything, and just to cross the finish line, and you're crossing it for all the people who didn't, and you're doing it for the city.
Dawn says hearing Joe Tsarnaev's guilty verdicts brought back the emotion of the race.
It took a good couple months to decompress from all of it. It was just in a very emotional race.
On Wednesday, a jury found Tsarnaev guilty of all charges in the Boston Marathon bombing.
I think we all knew that he would be found guilty. I think it's just one step closer to closure.
Dawn remembers the spirit of Boston supporting her on race day.
It was just amazing to see all the volunteers and just the people that lived in that city that were so excited to have us all there.
She knows the city will take the verdicts just like a runner would, in stride, on the long road to healing.
I think they were scared that nobody would come back and no one would want to run it again. I think for Boston too, that's another step closer for healing for them. So each year will be a healing year, and now that he's been found guilty, now they can kind of run the race.
This year's race will be on April 20th. Dawn will not be running this year, though. She's nursing an injury, but she hopes to run that race again. And Mike and Alex, a jury will now decide Joe Tsarnaev's sentence going forward could be the death penalty.
So many people watching that case. All right,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Shannon.
Well, today, authorities released the identity of a Maple Grove man killed in a car crash in Medina. The crash happened on Highway 55 Monday night. The victim is identified as 23-year-old Cody Olson. Police say 4 vehicles were involved in the collision that shut down Highway 55 for several hours on Monday. 3 others were injured.
Not in my backyard. That was the overwhelming community response to a proposed nightclub in Brooklyn Park. It would be located inside the Creekside Plaza Mall on 85th Avenue. Residents say it's just not a good fit.
There's been some rumors stating this is going to be a young hip-hop club. That's far from the truth.
When a city planning commission meeting draws a packed house, it's a cue there's an issue that's causing a stir.
I'm right off of Noble. The traffic to get out of my neighborhood is horrible already. I don't want a nightclub by my home.
Club owner Rodney DeWalt wants to bring an age 25 and older nightclub and restaurant to Brooklyn Park's Creekside Plaza Mall, right next to a daycare and a fitness club, and homeowners that want nothing to do with it.
And I'm sitting on my couch with my family and kids at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. I don't need to hear any music. I don't need to hear any argument, any loitering, or anything else.
Nightclub, no. Downtown Minneapolis or downtown St. Paul in a warehouse district or whatever, fine.
Concerns about traffic, noise, and crime fired up a community, citing incidents at other out-of-state clubs owned by DeWalt.
I've been involved in over 70 nightclubs in many cities. I've had 1 incident.
DeWalt says his venue would be an upscale one. The city concerns the establishment would be more club, less restaurant. Ultimately, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to deny the request, saying a residential shopping center isn't the right spot.
Irregardless as to what type of music they play, what type of food they serve, it's not a fit.
The City Council still has the final say. They'll make a decision on the nightclub April 28th.
A proposed gas station, meanwhile, is drawing a lot of heat from Brooklyn Park residents. Walmart has partnered with Murphy Oil to build a gas station on its parking lot. The Planning Commission heard from residents across the street who don't want it. They say they have a great family neighborhood, and a gas station on Walmart property would create more noise and increase crime.
I've been there 6 years in my house,
We've had crime increase. I've had police helicopters over my house searching for people. I've been accosted in the parking lot at Walmart, asked for money, different things. I've had shoplifters arrested on my block because they come across the street after they've shoplifted and they're being arrested in my neighborhood.
Another resident says there's already 6 gas stations within a 1-mile radius of the area. Walmart and Murphy Oil did not speak on the issue. No representatives from the companies showed up, so the Planning Commission decided to table the proposal until its next meeting. Farmland south of Highway 610 and Zane Avenue could turn into a business park and the Northwest Metro's second Hy-Vee grocery store. The Planning Commission is recommending approval of a zoning change to allow the so-called Astra Village project to move forward. A Hy-Vee representative says the grocery store could bring anywhere from 400 to 600 new jobs to the city.
A land deal in Maple Grove could bring new housing to the Arbor Lake shopping area. The Star Tribune reports that Bloomington-based Doran Companies paid more than $10 million for vacant land at the northeast corner of Hemlock Lane and Elm Creek Boulevard. While there are no plans yet, they would likely include housing, which is what the city has wanted for that site. A previous proposal for a hotel, office space, and more retail failed to get city support. Coming up, a young Brooklyn Park man who has been given new hope in the battle against MS.
Then later in sports, a former Cooper basketball star decides to go pro.
But first, a warming trend starts Friday and runs into the weekend. A new breakthrough drug is giving hope to MS patients.
A Brooklyn Park teen is the first in Minnesota to get the treatment, and a Golden Valley clinic is the only one in the state approved to administer the drug. Sonia Goins has more.
I was really good at sports.
Charles Frazier played basketball and football for Osseo Senior High School, but multiple sclerosis sidelined him.
I wouldn't say I can't play sports, but I can't play sports as well.
In January 2014, he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of MS. He was only 18 years old at the time.
Blurry vision, loss of balance, coordination, back pain.
MS causes the immune system to attack the central nervous system, impacting brain, nerve, and spinal cord functions.
My admin teachers called me into the office and they were like, oh, the teacher was kind of concerned about you walking, so we're going to do a breathalyzer test. They thought I was drunk.
Charles was in and out of the hospital, struggling with the disease.
It's just like a fight that me and MS are having.
He also had to fight hard to keep up with his schoolwork.
I graduated with high honors, a 3.5 GPA, and still going to the hospital almost every other day, missing school.
Later on, he had another reason to celebrate.
And it's a big deal for our patients that we've had many patients who have been waiting for this treatment.
Doctors told him he could get the new drug, Limtrada.
Limtrada is unique in it seems to reset the immune system. It almost like it reboots the immune system.
The drug is shown to not only put MS in remission, but it also helps to improve people's disabilities.
We're going to look at your MRIs at about 3 months' time.
Okay.
Charles is getting his first round of IV treatments this week.
It's saving my life, giving me my teenage life back. So I'm just real hopeful and blessed.
It's been an emotional ride for Charles and his family.
You can cry if you want to, honey.
But these were tears of joy.
Just to see him happy and positive, and every day that he feels good, it's a great day.
Charles is determined to get back what MS took away.
We're going to beat MS, and that's what I plan on doing. I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep fighting back.
Now, the drug is administered by IV for only 5 days the first year, and the following year it's given for 3 days. Now, Mike and Alex, Charles will not know the results of this drug until about 6 months from now. And by the way, he goes to Normandale Community College, where he's on the dean's list.
Oh, good for him. Yeah. I don't know if this is a miracle drug, but it must
seem
like a miracle
It seems
to
like
him.
it. He's very hopeful.
Thanks, Sonia. Thank you, Sonia. Well, coming up, 2 Wayzata Standout students aim to break down barriers in a field they love.
But first, the prep baseball season starts in style for Champlin Park. John Jacobson is in next.
Champlin Park's baseball team figures to be one of the contenders in the Northwest Suburban Conference this season. The runners-up in Section 5 3A last year hosted Elk River in their season opener Wednesday afternoon. Bottom of the first inning, and the Rebels' Casey Carlson bounces a single to center. Riley Johnson comes in to score, and it's 1-0 Rebels. It stays that way until the fifth inning when the Elks' Ben Boutain rips a hit into the left field corner. Kyle Zemer comes in and scores, and Boutain's double. The game is tied 1-1. Still in the fifth, and Ben Johnson singles to center, and that hit brings Boutain in, and it's 2-1. Elk River adds another run to go up 3-1. Bottom of the fifth inning, Champlin Park responds. Noah Pooley hits a ball deep to right over Boutain's head. Mario Zona scores, and Pooley's triple, and it's 3-2. A couple of batters later, the Rebels tie it up. Tim Munn with a fly ball to the left. It's deep enough to allow Pooley to tag up and score, and it's a 3-3 game. Same score in the bottom of the seventh. The Rebels' Riley Johnson up, and he rips a single through the Elks' five-man infield, allowing Derek Smith to come home with a game-winning run. Champlin Park wins a thriller in its opener. 4-3 is the final. In softball, a young Champlin Park squad matched up against Elk River, a state champion just 2 years ago in their season opener. This one at Champlin Park as well. Both teams escaped jams in the early innings. Champlin Park pitcher Taylor Sloat fields the comebacker, throws to Haley Moss. Moss home to Emma Lehman for the double play, and it's scoreless through 4. In the fifth inning, the Elks' Alyssa Germscheid connects. Her long drive sails over the fence in center for a leadoff home run. Same inning, Shelby Novotny laces a base hit to left. 1 run scores, but Alec Crone is cut down to the plate on a nice relay throw. The Elks get 4 runs, and they lead it 4-0. Champlin Park comes back. Lehman smokes a hit past first. That brings Randy Rogers home to get the Rebels on the board in their half of the fifth, and they're just getting started. Riley Husum tags a ball to left center here, and it'll drop in. Lehman scores on Husum's double. The Rebels get 3 runs total in the inning. Sixth inning, speed helps the Elks as Marie Deaton beats out the Tamper. The throw home is late. It's an important insurance run because it makes it 5-3 Elk River. Champlin Park does pull within a run. Lehman's bouncer getting past the shortstop. Pinch runner Taylor Gookeen scores, but that's it for the scoring, and Champlin Park falls 5-4. A former Cooper High School basketball star is hoping his next landing spot is the NBA. Rashad Vaughn showed here this past season in Nevada, Las Vegas, announced he will declare for the NBA draft. Vaughn, wearing number 1, finished his freshman year with the Rebels, averaging 17.6 points per game. He led UNLV in scoring and was named the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year. He missed the team's final 9 games with torn cartilage in his knee. Vaughn played 3 years at Cooper before going to Findlay Prep School in Las Vegas for his senior year of high school. As we showed you yesterday on Wednesday's 12 News, the defending state Class AA boys tennis champions, Wayzata, won its season opener. The Trojans topped the state's preseason rankings, too. The Wayzata Moundsview match was an early matchup of the top 2 teams in the Class AA rankings. Wayzata won that match 5-2. Eastridge is ranked 3rd, followed by Minnetonka and Shakopee. Maple Grove is rated 7th. In Class A, Blake is number 1, followed by Rochester Lord and Breck. Foley and Holy Family round out the top 5. Like Wayzata in Class AA, Blake has won the last 2 state championships in Class A. That's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you, John. Well, the world of computing is largely dominated by men.
Some of the reasons include a lack of women interested in the subject, or women simply feel unwelcome in a male-dominated field. But today's standout students from Wayzata High School are breaking that mold. Here's Delane Cleveland.
Okay, and let's go up to the top real quick.
In this computer science class at Wayzata High School, the students type in codes that are essentially a foreign language to the untrained eye. But seniors Anna Pooley and Amelia Rolf know exactly what they're doing.
I enjoy the puzzle aspect. So when I was younger, I would spend hours upon hours just playing with my Rubik's Cube. And so the idea of programming and how it was similar to just solving little puzzles appealed to me.
Coding is a completely different way of looking at things and thinking. I guess thinking is the biggest difference there, is that you have to be able to think like a computer, which sounds weird, but isn't.
For both students, it's a passion that developed at a young age for a field that has struggled to get more women involved.
Well, personally, I believe that not all women feel welcomed in the area because it is mainly male-dominated.
And I think girls probably are just a little bit more afraid of trying and just still not understanding it.
Whatever the case may be,
absolutely.
Their teacher says Amelia and Anna are prime examples of how women can thrive in the field.
Amelia has had 2 interests all her life, horses and technology. And to see her, and she's had great success with both of them. Anna has always been, quote unquote, the programming girl. She's loved computer programming.
That passion has paid off. Anna and Amelia are both winners of Aspirations for Women in Computing Awards.
So to see the girls that are rewarded for their interests and to be rewarded for their accomplishments is huge.
Yet for these students, their success is about more than getting awards. It's about doing something they enjoy and hopefully inspiring other young women along the way.
Coding is never going to go away.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Anna and Amelia are 2 of 11 young women in the state who received the computing awards. Amelia won at the state level, while Anna won at both the state and the national level. You can call it a walk down memory lane. A Grammy-nominated musician returns to his high school band room.
Hear his advice to musicians at Armstrong High School when we come back. Well, every year, Armstrong student musicians get a chance to play with a professional musician.
But this year's concert is a homecoming of sorts. Armstrong alum David Hagedorn is on the Wall of Fame at Armstrong for being a Grammy-nominated musician. He's a professional percussionist and an artist in residence at St. Olaf College. David will play with students in a jazz concert tonight, and playing at Armstrong 40 years after his graduation has brought back plenty of memories.
I always thought this room was a lot bigger. It seems small to me for some reason. And I used to practice in the closet up at the top.
David's best piece of advice for students came as no surprise. He said, keep practicing. That room always seems bigger, doesn't it, when you go back to
your old
school?
school? Yeah, it's always smaller.
That does it for us.
We leave you with some music now from the Armstrong Jazz Ensemble and David Hagedorn. Enjoy.